Hi there and welcome back to the channel, My Road to Wealth. We've all seen the news lately. It's very positive. Energy prices are at an all-time high, food prices are going up, interest rates have gone up, which means mortgage payments are going up. So what does all this mean? So let's just say you go to the shop with £1 to buy an ice cream. You get to the shop, ice cream's now £1.20. This is an example of inflation and what has hit the UK like an absolute ton of bricks. In this video, I'll give you an idea of what inflation is, but what's actually sort of going on. But there is more to it. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video as I equip you with the ultimate toolkit as well to combat the impact of inflation on your well and hard-earned money. So starting off, what is inflation? So inflation is the price of items or the price of goods going up over time, or it can be thought of as the decline or the loss of purchasing power with money over time. So as an example, if we take John, he goes to the shop, buys £100 worth of food shopping. The following year, he goes to the same shop, buys the exact same items, but instead now he has to pay £105. This would refer to a 5% inflation rate. So the price for the same goods has gone up by 5%. Or another way to think of it is his money buys 5% less. So his purchasing power has gone down. One of the ways this is measured is the CPI, and that's the Consumer Price Index. That's a basket of over 700 items that a majority of people buy that range from bread to bus tickets to even holidays. So what they'll do is the CPI will be calculated, and then basically that's compared and the difference calculated from last year, and then that gives you a percentage as to if the prices of those items have gone up or gone down, hence where the inflation rate comes from. Typically a little bit of inflation is natural as a country moves on with a healthy economy, as more money's issued, more money's printed, naturally it's going to drop a little bit. So for a majority of countries, the target for inflation is sort of between 2 and 3%. A low and stable inflation number is good. It keeps people spending. It shows a healthy economy, but that's where things at the minute are falling quite short. To put it into perspective, at the minute the UK has an 8.7% inflation rate. So you can see it's a little bit higher than what's targeted. There are countries out there managing their inflation better, some worse. Just to throw a few examples in there, in the US, the inflation rate is 4%. In France, it's 5.1%. In Australia, it's 7%. And in India, it's 4.25%. So you can see it really does vary. So what is actually going on in the UK? So as I mentioned, for May, inflation was 8.7% for the United Kingdom. It was also the same for April, so there was no change or effect there. You can see a little bit of a graph here, which puts things together quite well, but you might be looking at it thinking, but the graph is going down. I think prior to 8.7%, which we're at now, it was 10.1, 10.4, 10.1, 10.5. So it does seem to be trending downwards, which is positive. And while it's good that it is coming down, they do look at something else as well. That's referred to as core inflation. So core inflation is essentially the same idea, but it excludes the price of food, energy, alcohol, and tobacco. This core inflation is still something that's increasing. So it was at 6.8% in April, and then in May it went up to 7.1%. That's the highest it's ever been since 1992. So a lot of factors are said to have tied into this. The first one being Britain leaving the EU. This causes a lot of businesses to increase their prices, not always in proportion to how much their costs had gone up either. After that, you had the pandemic with furlough. Furlough wasn't very cheap. And then there was less job supply after the pandemic as well. All down to Ukraine, the crisis going on there at the minute, which has caused the cost of grain and energy to go up. The main thing on the inflation report that is influencing inflation is the price of recreation and eating out, interestingly enough. So to combat this, interest rates have gone up. So by increasing interest rates, people want to save more, spend less. People won't want to borrow money as much as well. So both people and businesses, they won't want to take out loans to expand or get a car, because overall, because the interest rates have gone up, it's going to cost them more. So with this, people spend less, there's less demand, and that means price growth, or the inflation of prices, that will slow down as people won't be buying as much of it. So I think the last interest rate increase was around about the 22nd of June, with the government having a goal of inflation being 5% by the end of 2023. So how can you fight the effects of inflation on your wallet or your purse? So first, starting off sort of looking at your food. So with your food, there's a variety of ways to save money there, in terms of batch cooking or meal planning at the start of the week. Another way is to cut costs at the actual source, so at the shop. Can you have generic brands as opposed to the official brands, the more basic versions that offer you better value for money? Looking at staples, so your tinned foods, your staples, your pasta, rice, dried food, canned food, and where you actually shop as well. So do you shop at a Tesco? Have you ever tried a Lidl or an Aldi that offer excellent value for money? From a transport perspective, can you work from home? Can you carpool, walk, take the bus? Or if you do need your car, do you need the luxury car you drive in? Do you need the Mercedes, the BMW, or could you get by with something that's perhaps a bit cheaper? Do you use comparison sites for your car insurance? Another thing to look at is making sure you have a budget in place. So having a budget which tells you and guides you in terms of what money you're spending where, cutting out unnecessary items as well. Are you getting the most interest for your savings as well? So there's been a lot of interest rate increases recently. There's even some easy access accounts where you can put your money in, take your money out, but they pay a 4.21% interest rate, which is absolutely mental. In terms of some smaller tips, if you are looking to go on holiday, it's planning in advance. If you can, paying down your credit card as much as you can so you don't have the minimum monthly payments coming every month, and obviously the interest to pay associated with that. Then finally, with your mortgage, it's looking at your options with your specific mortgage plan and potentially speaking to a mortgage advisor to see what your options are available to you. If you do need any more information on some of those tips, I do have some cracking videos on creating a budget, on paying down debt, and some of the accounts that are paying some incredible interest rates at the minute. So if any of those interest you, feel free to check out the channel to explore these in a little bit more detail. And with that, I wanted to say thank you for making it to the end of the video. It means the absolute world to me. Please be sure to like and subscribe for this kind of content relating to budgeting, to investing. I'm a very small channel, as you can see, so more than 20 views on this video, 5 subscribers would mean the absolute world to me. And with that, thanks again for watching. Have a great weekend.